All right, so these are my spoiler talk of Disclosure Day, um, with Spielberg's Disclosure Day. If you haven't seen my review already, go check it out. I give it about a 5 out of 10. It's an average, okay movie. There's intriguing mystery to it that keeps you engaged the whole time, but it is a slow burn with a payoff that's not necessarily there. Visuals are okay, score's okay. It's not going to blow your mind like other Spielberg alien movies. Some kind of more spoilery, plot-driven thoughts here. Um, I'll start with the end because that's probably the part that's the most spoilerific. It's the part that I'll focus on and kind of alters the score the most. Um, the idea at the end that, you know, we're going to disclose the alien stuff. All these classified documents are going to be disclosed. I would say it happens really fast, and we get there in kind of just like a blink of your eyes. 1 second, you're being chased. The next second, we're in a new studio posting or showing this footage. Um, it's not. It's just so for such a slow buildup. I feel like it really gets to the end quickly. And what I thought was kind of hokey was like, I don't know if this is believable. Is when this alien footage is shown, this however many years of alien footage that's been kept secret by the government from people is being disclosed to the world. Um, when that occurs, the entire world essentially just turns to the news. Every news channel essentially moves to it, and um, they all just start getting very like emotional and very like it's almost a somber moment in the movie where like everybody's like, wow, look at what we've not seen. This is so deep into we feel so deeply for these aliens. It's a very sympathetic to alien approach. That's definitely the idea that we're feeling sympathetic for them because of the way they've been treated at times by the government. And so that's fine, but it was kind of weird where it's like all these people are getting very emotional about aliens. And I'm not saying that wouldn't necessarily happen, but the fact that it was the overall response between the whole world and who we saw of like this, wow, we've missed out on these people, and this is a emotional moment. I think it's more likely that people would be freaking out. You would have people that didn't care, right? Like if you're going for a more grounded approach rather than like almost the entire world going, wow, this is a somber, emotionally changing and altering moment. Especially because they set up that in the background there's a World War III brewing. I think the point of that was to just show or reinforce the idea that this alien reveal would be such a movement and emotional movement inside everyone that even World War III and the world ending wouldn't stop the impact that this had. I think that was the whole point of having World War III as like a background thing that we just saw mentioned and could see developing in the background. But I think the way everyone kind of felt was really odd. Our two main characters, couldn't even remember their names, but Emily Blunt's character and the other main guy character, I feel like John O'Connor maybe or something like that. The two younger main characters, we eventually learn that they have like a connection to these aliens because the aliens gave them knowledge at one point. That scene in general is when CGI is really at its worst, and uh, I don't know if it makes a ton of sense. Something I don't think I explained enough in my non-spoiler review is that this movie leaves you with so many questions, you don't really understand what you watched. And because of that, like I don't mind a movie that kind of blows your mind and you go, man, what was that? I really got to think about that. Like Interstellar does that. But this movie is more like, I don't even really understand what just happened. I don't really understand what my characters went through or what they tried to tell me. It was just so confusing. And then aliens are disclosed at the end and changes the world. Um, obviously, but they don't really explain why because these were, our main characters were kids when the aliens put this stuff in their mind or changed them, but we don't see that, they don't have that activated in them until they're adults in this movie. So it's like odd that the activations are different, and like why were they given the powers but don't really have them till later, and that doesn't affect them till later. None of that's really explained. It just kind of is what it is. There's some neat alien technology, right, that's shown that our main kind of antagonist uses to get into people's minds, but when other people touch it, other things happen. So it's not really clear how that technology works. It almost just feels like a technology that just like can do whatever, which then leads you to more questions of like, what is really this thing? We also don't totally understand the government's intentions or the organization's intentions that are experimenting and researching these aliens. We're told, hey, they're doing it for XYZ, but we really don't see the why behind why they're keeping it a secret and what their relationship with these aliens are. More questions that we're given. I do think early on in the movie, Wyatt Russell, his character, very side character, love interest at the beginning of the movie of Emily Blunt's character, I think he's pretty entertaining, and I enjoy like the comedy that comes with him, the slight bits of humor that show up. I think that's really good. That's very beginning parts of the movie, but that is something I really liked. But once we get into the movie, it's just kind of a continuous chase of trying to get the whistleblower information that has been stolen. What keeps us intrigued is just the mystery behind what this whistleblower information is and what's going to happen with it. But at the end, they just reveal it to the world, and that's really it. I couldn't pinpoint, after watching it, I can't pinpoint why it's not like more effective, but it just isn't. It's one of those where it's like you can't really explain. You leave the movie with so much questions about the movie that you can't even really digest what the movie was. What else? The alien designs, they went for the very iconic, just normal, big head, big eyes, small body alien design. I think that was kind of on purpose. I didn't mind that. But something I did think was kind of interesting or confusing was that when all this footage comes out at the end, there's so many variations. Like every ship you see, out of the 10, 15 videos we see of ships, they all look completely different. Almost like they'd be different species, but we're not shown different species. It's all one species, at least the way the movie approaches it. So I don't totally understand that. I mean, perhaps you say it's been a lot of time that's taken place, 80 plus years or whatever it is of footage and archival photos and such. And so it's like, maybe it's because of that. Over time, the alien technologies evolved too that they've shown up on Earth with, but we don't really get to learn or understand the aliens beyond they're not really a threat, it seems. They're more of an empathetic, and we are to feel sympathetic for them in the movie. There are some silly parts of it where your villains, they're just chasing after our protagonists of the movie, and they're kind of dumb. They don't catch our protagonists at times when really they should. Our protagonists get away, specifically John O'Connor, I believe that's the actor. He gets away from our federal company group that's trying to get the stuff back from him. He gets away out of tough situations that he really shouldn't, right? Pulls back a little bit of the believability, especially because he's not like a fighter or anything like that. He even makes a comment in the movie how he's not a field worker. He's not built for this situation. But overall, most of the movie you'll be intrigued. The problem is the thing that's keeping you intrigued lasts a long time. That mystery doesn't evolve too much for a long time, which is what causes that slow pace. And then, like I said, once we get to the end, it really ramps up. It's weird that you have like a bad guy that kind of just gives up at the end. kind of pulls back from like what was his whole point of being the bad guy in the first place. You know, he needs to get this stuff back, and he's finally in a position where he could take out some people and get the information, but he chooses not to and just gives up. It's a weird ending to our antagonist in the movie. Uh, and all of these things just kind of lead it to why it's only an average experience. It's one you'll be interested in, you'll intrigued in, but you'll be kind of let down and confused by the end. Those are some more of my spoiler thoughts, some of those plot details that I wanted to dive a little bit more into. Just like in the review, if you have any thoughts or anything to add, feel free to leave it in the comments. Other than that, just check me out next time on my channel for the next movie review. This summer's got lots of movies, so stay tuned for more. But thanks.